What you got?
I'd ask Doug, is Keegan going to be in the starting lineup?
It's possible. Yeah.
What did you take away from his game in Memphis?
Like obviously there's going to be rust. Love what I saw from him as far as his aggressiveness. Wanted to play down the stretch to make sure that he's finding his rhythm and finding his way. Defensively, he's going to do what Keegan does, but just running the floor, being in that position before, it can be difficult because you're trying to find your way, you're trying to find your rhythm, but at the same time play team basketball and blow your lungs out. Because you can practice, you can play 5-on-5 in practice and different stuff, but there's nothing like the game. It's just weird that way.
You guys have not often gotten off to good starts in games.
Yep.
I'm curious how you try to get your team off to a better start and can do lineup changes enter your mind at all?
Always. That's part of what it is because you're trying to find that rhythm. I think more than anything for us is the defensive standard. We're just going to have to keep pounding it and making sure that, there's things that we're looking at that we're coaching to. And if that's not happening, then we got to make subs until our identity is set. We understand it and we understand what is expected of us every single night. Yeah.
One against, one of the best out there in Europe. Can you recall just what it was like for you as a young player, those nights where you maybe had to guard Mike or somebody, one of those ones out there?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, listen, he has every trick in the book, knows the game, knows his pace, but it's baptism by fire. It's what it is. And I think it's going to be absolutely spectacular for Max. Like, this is exactly what he needs. And I tell them all the time, we get what we need, we don't get what we want. And in my opinion, him playing against the best is just helping him because I visually see him improving out on the floor with his communication, with his timing, want him to rebound that ball high. Want him to chest it, outlet it, want to make sure that on his screens he's chesting the ball, seeing it, like little tiny things that we want him to improve upon. And first of all, extremely coachable. And that is what the baptism by fire is. It's coaching. It's you learning what great players do, how they play, the tempo of which they play, and then not being scared to mix it up and be physical. So I'm excited for him. Definitely.
DeMar said after the game in Memphis that maybe having an uncertain future with the team, business of basketball, whatever the wording is, might be weighing on him a little bit. And it's, I'm just curious your stance on that. And is that something you guys talk about? Is that something you have to address with him or other players on the team?
I mean, that's more front office, I would say, more than anything. But as far as when it comes to the business of basketball, I talk to all of our players, so I'm open to any of that communication because they know I've been through it before. I understand. It's all of that stuff is extremely difficult. Even the rotations and different things, that is what basketball is about. And on our level, it's there's a lot more weighing on it, obviously, than when you're a kid and coming up. But it's part of what we do. Trade deadline comes, all these different things happen, and we have to deal with it. It happens every single year that I've ever been involved in this business, and there's always that unknowing and different thing, but it's part of what we do. And he's a pro, and he's going to respond like a pro. I have no doubt about DeMar DeRozan.
Doug, I asked you about kind of the offensive changes before the OKC game without Domas. It felt in that game like the ball stuck a little bit more than it normally does. What's the approach, the messaging, kind of to try and iron out that?
Simple.
Kind of stuff?
Move the ball and move bodies. That's what you have to do. You have to trust your teammates. Advance the ball up the floor. Search. Bring it back out. Get us into something that puts us in places that has proper spacing and things like that. And listen, trying to figure that out on the fly in the game is difficult. OKC, we had practices, and thus the result is there's a highly competitive game. Guys are in their spots, ball is moving, all those different things. 24 hours later, you got to figure that out and trust. You can't, go back to the things that you normally do. That ball needs to move, and we need to move bodies at the same time, whether that's screening and cutting, advancing the ball up the floor, pushing the ball up the floor, rolling hard when we set screens, all those things. There are many ways to play with pace. You play with it in the full court, obviously by pushing the ball. You can advance the ball, but there's also ways to touch the paint, whether that's screening and cutting, whether that's dribbling and getting in the paint, whether there's a pass as well. Like, there's many ways. We have to find and use those ways, and when we do that, first of all, we're a better team, but second of all, it shows that we're starting to trust the things that we do as opposed to the ball sticking and trying to, it's really hard in the half court when you're playing against a set defense. And when you're playing against a set defense, the only way to manipulate it is you have to move the ball around. You have to screen, create advantages. Once those advantages are created, you got to keep them until you find yourself an open shot. Many times we're passing up some open shots. And we can't do that because once that shot is created, it has to be taken because the defense is closing on it extremely fast.
Anything else?
Thank you, guys.